Yeah, them critics was cap. Say, twin, the movie starts with the king of pop himself, ready to take the stage at Magic City, wearing one of the greatest garments man has ever worn on an album cover. But before we can bear witness to Jaafar Jackson proving that there was no greater casting to play the king of pop besides me, I actually declined this role. Little fun fact. We flash back to where it all started. The trenches. Gary, Indiana. James Brown videos. And Joseph Jackson's belt. Lil Mike is watching kids play outside with his daddy. Excuse me. Joseph makes him get in line with his brothers to practice. Dog, who in that casting room knew that Colman Domingo could look like Joe Jackson for real? Nigga, this the same nigga. They in Hollywood using Edo Tensei no Jutsu. Even Nia Long, the queen. Like, somehow they gave everyone in this movie the Jackson face. How did they do that? I need to see them win a makeup and costume award. Oscars! You know they not letting this movie get an Oscar. The cast and crew gonna have to settle for the JJ's Fish and Chicken on Fulton Industrial. That's the best we gonna get.
Yeah, Mike love Kentucky Fried Chicken. I know that shit for a motherfucking fact. Finger licking good, Mike.
Now, if you are somehow unfamiliar with the Jackson story, you should know that Joe Jackson is all about his business. So even at the family dinner, a sacred family time, he's still ruining the fun talking about business. Now I'm gonna keep it a buck. I kinda understand where he's coming from. This man worked in the Vivette factories every day and he just as broke as me. Imagine coming home and your greatest chance at economic advancement, not just for your own broke ass, but for your future posterity. Wanna play in Neverland all day. Nigga, get your ass in this room and dance! Nah, y'all, I'm just kidding. Kids should be kids, but shit. Who is really to blame for creating a society where a black father genuinely believes that his kids cannot waste time enjoying being kids? Because if they aren't working harder than everyone else from the day they are born, they'll be poor and miserable for the rest of their lives. That ain't Joe's fault, I tell you that. Read a book, nigga. So, Joe, I feel you, my dog, my slime, my twin. Up until you started beating this 8-year-old's ass because he was proud of himself. That's where you lost me, nigga. Brother, this scene was so gruesome and just tragic to watch because Lil Juliano was acting his ass off, but this ain't even the worst of what happened in real life. Joseph, you are a sadist, and I be looking at the brothers like it's 5 of y'all, plus Ma Dukes, plus Compound V, Baby Janet. If y'all don't slam this nigga through the ground like how Lil Key did to Bruce drop him off, how Loki did to Hulk, wait. I wish a nigga would. I can't go for that. But you know what I'm saying? He suck it up. He read his Peter Pan Neverland book. And the next day, him and his brothers hit that "Stand in the end, you still be you." That's how Sly and them sing it. Wait till I warm up. I'ma kill that bitch. Trust. So while performing for Gladys Knight and the Pips, some real ATL legend, a scout from Motown immediately sees the talent in Micheal. And I'm a young black man in America on his celibacy journey, patiently waiting for my God-given wife, and as such, this thirsty energy is no longer aligned with me. However, maybe I see why Shameik Moore did what he did. No, I don't. So they make it to the Motown studios in Zone 6 Atlanta. They dap up me, Future, and JID as they walk in, and we get this funny scene where Micheal is trying to record I Want You Back. But Berry Gordy has to keep telling him to stop moving his feet because he keeps dancing all over the record. And every time I see Micheal genuinely show his love for music and performance, whether through this scene or the scenes of him freely practicing James Brown moves on the TV, man, Georgia really run everything. Or that one time he was beatboxing all over Oprah's interview, not paying her no mind. I keep thinking, Joseph really lucked out with Micheal, because it's one thing to become great at the thing your father is forcing you to do. It's one thing to think that you like the thing that you've always been good at. It's another thing to genuinely have a passion for that same thing. Like, if Micheal hit puberty or adulthood and just decided he wanted to be an accountant or some shit, these niggas would have been screwed. So Berry Gordy start gassing Lil Mike head up, telling him he sing better than Smokey. But this shit not even glazed. He was really like that as a child. That child had a lot of pain to draw from. And Mr. Gordy starts teaching him his way around the studio consoles when Joseph, who has literally made no effort to be an actual father, mind you, gets jealous and pulls Micheal away. Mind you, Micheal literally needs to know this shit. But hold on, theory. What if Joe was sad because he actually wants to be a father, but he knows he has to act like a general so they can succeed? What if this is his inner conflict? Y'all said I'm giving him too much credit. My fault. So by 1971, the Jackson family's living in a damn compound in Encino, California. Place so rich, my broke ass ain't even heard that word before. Did I even pronounce that right? Do I got enough money to pronounce it? No. And this is where Michael meets Bill Bray, his personal security / lifelong life coach. And this man really watched him grow up before his eyes, man. That's so adorable. We then time skip to Michael with Quincy Jones in 1978, planning for Off the Wall. But hold up real quick. Let's rewind. Why when his mom told him to meet some real human friends instead of bringing these funky ass animals into her house? Mike look at her like, really nigga? We done been through this before. Nigga like, I done told you this a million times, them kids don't fuck with me. So the main plot of this movie is Michael's journey to become his own man and his struggle to overcome the controlling, paternalistic influence of Joe Jackson so that he can fully be free to shine his light onto the world as Jehovah said he should. And that starts right here with Michael's decision to do a solo album, which he and Q both know won't make his dad happy. And Michael pump faking like,
I used to think about immature things, but I'm a man now, Quincy, a grown man, and I came a long way. I'll look him in the center of his cold, dead irises and tell him, I'm done with all this brotherly love bullshit.
Boy, slow your ass down with this PlayStation Miles Morales ass voice. We know you about to send someone else, nigga.
You're not like that.
Off the Wall wasn't even his first solo album, but whatever. But Michael really just like me. As you all may recall, they did base part of his character around me in this film. He like,
I need to do this album. I want a whole new me, a whole new sound, a whole new thing. I have to get all these ideas out or God might give them to Prince.
I said, damn, this the same way I feel about Kai Cenat. I came up with Streamer You first and the Mafia Thom. Even this scary movie, Marlon Wayans called me first. That nigga stole my part. So Joe basically said he don't give a fuck what Michael does with his life as long as he still works with his brothers from 9 to 5. So we'll take a soft W on that one. Baby steps, baby steps. Michael has a quick dialogue with his pet llama. Bro, still think he me. Then gets in the whip to go to the studio with Quincy. And throughout this movie, it was so adorable. This a grown-ass man. But it was still so adorable to see Michael repeating affirmations to himself. It really humanizes the man who we so often treat as a larger-than-life figure. He really just like us. Now, the making of Off the Wall skyrockets Michael to superstardom, and we watch as he can't go anywhere without attracting huge crowds of people. He can't even go home. But we never lose sight of him as a genuine human being. We constantly see him visiting hospitals to have genuine conversations with terminally ill children, and now I'm realizing that these scenes are why this film got a 30% rating. I guess we're supposed to include scenes of him doing the unspeakable? I guess. Realistically, what did these people want out of this movie? Like, even if you believe Michael is guilty, he was proven innocent. Now, I'm not one to defend the American court system, but even the most non-biased filmmaker would have to use the facts rather than speculation, simply to tell a cohesive story. So my question to the critics is, did y'all want to see 30 minutes of him going to court just for it to end in an acquittal so you can bitch and moan about that too? This film makes Michael Jackson out to be the actual victim of his many alleged crimes. Nigga, shut your bitch ass up! Like, there's genuinely no way to honestly address that portion of his life. Do y'all forget he's been off the planet since 2009? It's not like you can go interview this nigga for a clarification or a confession or some shit.
So Mr. Jackson, we're really trying to nail the characters, so we need you to reveal some secrets. Have you ever—
They can't ask his casket that shit, nigga! What they gonna do in the film with a text wall saying
he once settled out of court and the other time he was proven innocent, but we still don't know for sure?
What type of writing is that? Nigga, that's biased in itself, and it's plain ass, even if you think he's guilty.
And so, it makes complete sense that they ended the film before this nigga even had the Neverland Ranch.
But I guess in the year of our Lord 2026, you're allowed to give films 30% ratings because you disagree with the story outline. Not the execution, not the acting, not the directing, not the hands-on work of the hundreds of people that may never get another job because their last film they worked on got a 30% rating. Not none of that. They gave this shit 30% because of the concept itself. What movie has this ever happened to? Why Wicked ain't get a 30%? It ended before Elphaba became evil, right? Are we sanitizing and whitewashing her crimes as the Wicked Witch? Fuck out here, nigga. Y'all know that shit's stupid. But while y'all mad about that, I'm more mad they ain't show him at Summer Jam with Jay-Z.
I'd like to thank everybody out there for their purchase. Here's Michael, the king of pop, ladies and gentlemen.
I know he would have played himself. Who else can play this nigga? Tay Diggs? Man, hell no. So Michael take that Off the Wall money and buy himself a chimpanzee. Woo-hoo-hoo! a real nigga, Bubbles! Now at this point, and pretty much for the duration of the film, Michael still lives with his family at his big ass age. Just like me, cause I still need 1,000 subs to get monetized. So they all like, what the fuck this nigga got going on? And Michael looks at Joe and tells him,
My monkey will beat your ass if you lay hands on me again. Hee hee now, Bubbles. Time for breakfast.
Okay, Mike, that was badass. Hold on though, who did? Now let me chill. As you all may recall, I am a young black man in America practicing celibacy and patiently waiting for my God-given wife, so the chase no longer aligns with me. But no, Michael, damn, this nigga hands was big as fuck. But no, he going for the nose job. No, twin, don't do it. You are already perfect. Even the white doctor telling him his nose not too big. Hold on though, but if everybody get work done, should I go through with the Turkish hairline lowering surgery for this forehead? So Michael is clearly trying to do his own thing and rebrand. Bro even cop the archive vet straight from me and Kai. But Joe tells the family that he's arranging a Jackson's tour and live album, and when Michael says he needs time to think about it, just time to think, mind you, he like, nah boy, I done told you what to think. You think you better than everybody else in this house because you got a hit album?
Yes, Joseph.
What did you say, nigga?
Bill, get the whip, we gotta go.
But it's crazy how Joe really taught them since children not to see themselves as individuals, but to view everything they do as part of the family. And so Michael's dilemma isn't just a struggle to break free from an abusive father, but it's also a struggle to simply view himself as his own person with his own goals, his own dreams, his own will, and with his own consequences to shoulder on his own. We cut to Michael on tour with his brothers, showing that he dismissed his own wishes to please his family, to please Joe, really. Now y'all, nigga, never do this. This is one of the best lessons you can learn in life ever. Never ignore your own yearnings to please or appease somebody else, and become very keen on noticing when that voice in your head that says,
no, you can't,
or
no, you have to,
is really just a projection of other people's fears and judgments. Facts! So Michael goes to CBS, hires Miles Teller as his manager, gets him to fire Joseph through a fax, and Joe nearly crashes out. He goes straight to Katherine like, I'ma whoop this nigga ass when he get home. But she like,
no you not, nigga. You can't whoop nobody no more. Your arm's brittle, little body ass.
And y'all know this scene got the obligatory hand clap from the theater. But isn't it absurd and weirdly humanizing that even as the biggest and greatest entertainer in the history of man, an undeniable talent, there will still be someone to remind you how small you are, rather how small they think you are, and that someone can really be your own blood. Speaking of getting hoed by your own blood, we get this quick scene of Michael trying to play Twister with his brothers, and they like, nah, that's some little kid shit, some LKS, we trying to fuck these LA groupie hoes. So Michael was like,
man, you guys are no fun anymore.
And he kept smiling like shit was sweet, but you know he was sad on the inside, which made me sad because I've been through this same scenario. But it's all good though, because my nigga Bubbles got no problem playing Twister. He the homie. I don't got a Bubbles though, so I'm gonna have me a baby by next year. That seems logical. But oh nah, Michael starts planning Thriller and he talking about no interviews because he want to be mysterious. Bro think he Cardi. So Michael start coming up with the Thriller songs, humming while walking his llama in these white people neighborhood. Got them all confused. See, their first instinct is to call the police, but they can't imagine that a drug dealer will own a llama, so they froze in place like RDC Leland. But that night in the studio, he turns on the news and is just heartbroken seeing the violence between the Bloods and the Crips in LA. So for peace, he puts them all in a room together. Nigga. Man, hell nah, this shit would work. I could see if it was a real nigga. I could see if it was young boy. They'd be like, hey, don't shoot. That's YB. But Michael? Man. So Michael pulls up to see them dance battling, and once again, I feel like this is not how this shit would have happened, considering they are looking in the eyes of people who killed their family members. At best, they would have probably stood in silent animosity until Mike pulled up, but hey, I guess. And he makes them watch him rehearse the beat it numbers. And they sitting like, fuck, this nigga got me watching him dance for. Like, he cool, but I gotta get home on me. But then Mike say they can all be in the video. So they like, oh shit, I'm about to get out the hood for fuck is he top.
Yes, I'm moving you all out the hood. You know, I'm actually from the hood myself, so I relate to your poor people struggles.
You ain't from no hood, Mike.
But I am, cuh, on the dead lokes. Tell him, Bill.
Michael films the legendary Thriller video with this. And then he presses his label head at CBS, who presses the head of MTV to play Michael's videos, or he's gonna pull everyone from the MTV lineup. This includes Bob Dylan, damn, Bruce Springsteen, damn, Cyndi Lauper, damn, Billy Joel, damn, these niggas at MTV had no choice, and that's how you do business. And Michael does his iconic Motown 25 performance of Billie Jean, but before we get to this, I have to highlight that Jaafar did an incredible job portraying Michael as a musician, as a performer, as a visionary, and as a human being. And if you see this movie, which you should, this is undeniably an S-tier portrayal. Not just because of how striking the resemblance is, like there's genuinely some scenes where you think it's actually Michael Jackson's old footage, but because he really dove deep into the character of Michael Jackson, the superstar and the man underneath. And the fact that we got two movies in two back-to-back years where a younger talent made their debut and came out the gate swinging is marvelous to me. But what I most appreciate about this performance of Billie Jean is how Jaafar stayed on his tippy toes at this moment, because if you don't know, Michael Jackson, after arguably the greatest live performance of all time by any artist in any medium ever, cried because he did not stay on his tippy toes after the moonwalk. Nigga, we don't give a fuck. Ain't nobody worry about that shit, nigga. So when I first watched this movie and saw Jaafar hold it with the camera cutting to the audience and back to indicate that he held it for a long time, it really made me sentimental. Like, he really held it for him, bro. He carried it forward, man. That's so beautiful. Now, keep in mind, at this point in the film, Off the Wall has been made and Thriller has become the best-selling album in the history of the world. But Joe ass still talking about some damn family tour. Nigga, shut your bitch ass up! And Michael's still living with his parents like a buck. He ain't no but shit, nigga. And Joe got the nerve to say that if Michael doesn't do this tour, everything they have falls apart. Gang, you suck at money management. Y'all been famous for 15 damn years at this point. And you can't blame it on Motown and that 2.8% royalty rate, because y'all been left them. And Stevie Wonder been changed that shit. Blame it on this fuck ass Jerry curl. I know you spent bread on that shit. So Michael once again bends to his father's will, and we cut to the historic Pepsi commercial that literally ruined his life as a malfunction, aka the stage crew neglecting to tell him that he was standing in an unsafe area, caused his hair to set on fire, resulting in third-degree burns and severe nerve damage on his scalp. And it's so heartbreaking to know that from this point on, pretty much everything that went wrong in his life, even the cause of his passing, can be traced back to this moment right here. The fact that he didn't do what he wanted to do, what God called him to do, and allowed the opinions of others to derail his plans that his innermost self knew were for the best. And you know, in the 80s they had a lot of hair grease. Why would they even do anything with fire? But Joe ass still bullshitting. He at the hospital like, when can he get back on stage? Nigga, shut your bitch ass up! And the fans got the nerve to crowd around the hospital when they trying to carry him in. Get your po asses out the way!
Except the black women, y'all can stay. This is Michael.
But the silver lining in this is that it served as an eye-opening experience for Michael. It awakened him to his calling, to the ways in which he has been blessed by God, and how that blessing is really a responsibility. A responsibility to maximize his potential, to do everything he can with his talents and honed abilities to instill hope, to inspire, and to make this world a better place. He now knows that he has no choice but to let his light shine, and though he decides to do the victory tour with his brothers, he's finally decided that it's time to leave home and become a big boy. Bro still think he me and Sammy Moore. Now what's funny to me is that while Michael is in the hospital, Katherine tells Joe that Michael is on his own path and that all the boys will find their way as well. And it low-key looks like he understands. But then at the final show of the North American tour, he starts planning a whole international tour behind Michael's back. Again, he ain't learned shit. But I've gone too long without mentioning Nia Long and the incredible performance she gave as Katherine Jackson. And it goes without saying that Colman Domingo performed incredibly as Joseph Jackson. Facts! But at the end of their final show, Michael, to everyone's surprise, tells the audience that this is the Jacksons' farewell tour. And this is the last time they will perform together as a group. And this gets Joe heated. But ain't shit you can do about it, hoe ass nigga. Time to find another boy group, get you a crisscross nigga. And the movie concludes the way it started, with Michael Jackson, now the king of pop, now light skinned, performing Bad to a sold out crowd in the Lenox Mall parking lot. All alone, but more successful and fulfilled than ever. In conclusion, the critics lied. This nigga over-inserted himself in the movie, and Jaafar need an Oscar. We all know they not gonna give it to him though. Goodbye, nigga. The culture might need a Motown biopic series though, because I'm really trying to see Lil Mike talk to my goat Stevie like,
are you really blind? Hell nah, Michael. What the fuck you think this was? I do this shit for the huzz, and clearly it works. See?